And then on Saturday we will try something entirely new in many, many ways. And since Stephen is going to be conducting Saturday concert, perhaps you should elaborate on that.
I'll be happy to. I feel actually honored to do this concert at the Peninsula Music Festival because it represents a sort of first ever Pops concert. But we're doing it in our way because the Peninsula Music Festival is about great music. And there's great music in lots of styles. And we're going to present great music in lots of styles, still with some pieces that you would call classical, but they all fit into our theme. And we're trying also a slightly different approach on our Saturday by having an earlier start time of 6:30 p.m., which we think will work well into the Door County lifestyle up there. And this concert's going to be a lot of fun. It's called From Broadway to Hollywood. And the first part of the concert has a lot of love story in it. We're going to be doing music from My Fair Lady, which I just think is one of the best musicals ever written. The tunes of My Fair Lady are so memorable and so beautiful and singable. And you know, one of the great things, musical theater is a unique contribution from America to the musical world. It really, you know, Broadway was a unique thing. Europe had different types of popular music in cabaret and salon, but the music of Broadway was its own thing, and great composers invested wonderful orchestration and worked very hard to make terrific melodies and have good stories. And I think that's one reason the music is so abiding. These works by Rodgers and Hammerstein, Sound of Music and Carousel and Oklahoma, they'll last forever because they're really good. So I'm excited to do these beautiful Robert Russell Bennett arrangements with the PMF Orchestra. It treats this music with tremendous symphonic respect, if you will, and you know, elevates the music with wonderful scoring. We'll also feature our concertmaster candidate for that week, Felicia Moya, because we'll do excerpts from Fiddler on the Roof. And so our concertmaster will have significant violin solos in that, and in another work on the second half of the program. We have some opera music on this program, and I'll tell you the way I think about it. We're going from Broadway to Hollywood, which means that along the way, there are lots of opera houses to visit. So we're going to finish the first half of the concert with one of the great love stories of all time, that of La Boheme. And the interesting thing is that we're doing an instrumental fantasy, and this harkens back to a great 19th century tradition that Liszt and some of these other composers were a part of, and that was taking memorable opera music and treating it in a purely instrumental way.
They are transcriptions. Transcriptions.
And we have a nice transcription by an Italian gentleman that uses the symphonic orchestra and offers some of the best loved parts of La Boheme, including Mi chiamo no Mimi and Quando men vo. And it should be a very nice way to end the first half.
And the tenor will have a perfect high C.
And we will have no problems with the tenor at all, because there won't be one. That's one way to really handle the situation. And then...
so we're actually going from the Broadway directly to the Met, and from Met we're going to LA.
They're not far.
No, far,
and then we have to pass through the West, and so to tie this all together, the Lone Ranger will make an appearance in the Overture to William Tell of Rossini, which is of course also Italian opera, but for our American public, the most popular association with the start of that famous fanfare is with the Lone Ranger and Hi-Ho Silver, and so that ties nicely into Hollywood, don't you think?
That public actually is aging now.
That's true. Yes. I have a photo.
The middle-aged public more accustomed to rap.
That's true.
Right?
I guess it shows my own aging because my parents have a record of me, a photograph of me when I was about 6 or 7, holding my first ever LP record, and it was Toscanini conducting Rossini overtures, and I didn't care about any of the other names on that record. I didn't know what they were, La Gazzaladra, or any of those other pieces, Barbara Seville. The only one that I cared about was the William Tell. And I think that groove got pretty much worn away because I loved it so much. But again, it's a fantastic piece of music. It is programmatic, and it will show off our orchestra, including the English horn, soloist. And that is a segue.
And our cellist.
And our wonderful cello section with the beautiful chordal choir writing for the cello section at the beginning. And that will be a segue into music from film. And we'll be doing selections from Oklahoma and also music by John Williams, selections from Schindler's List, which will also feature our concertmaster. Very powerful music. And I don't think John Williams often gets credit enough for the really interesting things that he does in his film scoring. Like, for instance, I think his score to Catch Me If You Can is one of the best film scores ever written, or at least in the last 20 years. But we will finish with his most famous music, which is the suite from Star Wars. And we get some villains in the second half of the program. And, you know, in Oklahoma you have Judd, who's kind of a villain, and everybody knows about the villains in Schindler's List. And the villain in Star Wars, of course, is Darth Vader. So we have love story in the first half and some heroes with William Tell and villains in the second half, and it's going to be a lot of fun and a great way to feature our orchestra in music that we haven't played there.
I'm very looking forward, very much looking forward to be present as a off-duty man, you know, for that program, and simply enjoy this very high-class entertainment.
Yes, but you always have a way of making your presence felt, and I have a feeling you will.
Okay, if you want me to, I'll be working on it.
Yeah, we've received a suggestion that you play a cameo again as Darth Vader. It's going to be fun.
All right, so we are done with the first week.